that I was worshipping God. There's a way that seems right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And you can be sincere, and you can be sincerely wrong.
Do you see that connection I was starting to work on right before the newscast about the only people who seem to believe in Satan are people who believe in God? And that they just vacillate back and forth between the two?
Well, we know that as far as Christians are concerned, we believe there is a Satan.
Well, why doesn't Satan seem to manifest himself in people like me? I mean, I don't worship nothing.
Well, how
I don't sprinkle powdered bones over my left shoulder. I don't howl at the moon or pray to crabs or anything like that.
Well, remember what I said earlier on in the show. I said Satan doesn't go around wearing red underwear. He comes in other ways.
Satan, a pretty swift guy, pretty smart man. Well, being wherever he is, Satan.
I think he's good at doing what he does.
Good at doing what he does. Well, okay, let's see if we can't follow this one down the road here. Peace, Mr. Alexander. What's the average person that you encounter who's involved with Satan? What does that person do? Truck drivers, bartenders, that kind of stuff?
It could be anybody. It could be attorneys. It could be anybody.
But just average people, right?
The average person, certain people, yes.
Mr. Alexander, something in the neighborhood of 3 million people at one time or another have heard what I have to say, have heard my radio program in this market or other markets. 3 million people. Only a handful of individuals ever get to talk to that many people. Right this instant, statistically, we're talking to something in the neighborhood of 25,000 people. Mm-hmm. In the last hour and 16 minutes that you've been on this program, we've talked to something statistically in the neighborhood of 100,000 people. I do this every day, day in, day out, 3 hours a day. Now, Mr. Alexander, if you were Satan and you were trying to get your message out, and time is of the essence here because the Savior's coming back any day now, and you gotta steal as many souls as you can possibly steal from them. Who are you going to mess around with, sir? A guy that talks to millions of people, or somebody that drives a truck and drives a motorcycle and drinks too much beer?
I'm going to talk to everybody.
Exactly. You're going to go after Lassiter, Mr. Alexander. Why doesn't Satan come after me instead of these poor souls who were raised in the Baptist church and now have tattoos up and down their arms and think they're worshiping Satan out in the woods drinking beer?
Yeah, but how do you know that Satan's not using you? When you absolutely deny him, he would like you to do that. That's one of the...
Well, sir, I don't do evil and I don't advocate evil.
Yes, but the point is, it isn't that a case that you're actually doing evil. You are saying he is a myth, and he likes that. You see, one of the biggest dangers of Satan is his inconsistency.
Oh, really? Isn't that convenient?
Well, that's a fact.
Oh, it's a fact. I see. Something that isn't a fact is a fact.
Well,
how can you have a fact about something that's not a fact?
No. You say it's not a fact. I say it is a fact.
Well, you can't prove there's a Satan, sir. You told me at the beginning of the show that I had to accept Satan the same way that you would have me accept your God by faith, which is one of the silliest things I've ever heard in my entire life.
Apart from faith, from the actual things that do happen.
See, I must accept Satan, right, sir? In order to be saved, I would have to accept Satan.
That he exists.
Yeah. In order to be saved and go to heaven, I would have to accept
I think you have to accept Christ. That's what you have to accept.
Oh, I would also have to accept Satan.
You'd have to accept him.
Oh, no, sir, because Christ accepted Satan. Christ accepted Satan, right?
No, he didn't accept him.
Well, of course, he acknowledged his presence.
He acknowledged his presence, yes.
Right, so Christ believed in Satan. So I would have to believe in Satan in order to go to heaven with Christ. So isn't that one of the most silly things you've ever heard in your entire life?
It's the way you're putting it.
No, it's not the way I'm putting it, sir. It's the way it is.
The point
is the way that you have, for however many years you've been on this earth, tried desperately to avoid putting it.
I believe that there is a Satan, and he...
Well, of course, sir, you have to believe there's a Satan. Again, this is what we were talking about before the news. He's the most important figure in your religion. You take away Satan, and you've taken away your religion.
No, I don't think so. I think he's a fact.
Sir,
he exists.
Sir. Well, let me take you back to Genesis, first page of the book. Actually, I guess it's the second page of the book. Where the serpent, Satan, appears and tempts Eve to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge, etc., etc. Remember that?
Yeah.
Second page of the book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, If that hadn't happened, sir, then there wouldn't have been any original sin. And had there not been any original sin, then there wouldn't have been any sin. And had there not been any sin, then there wouldn't have been any need for a Savior to come and wash away your sin. Right, sir?
Right. But you see...
So if you didn't have Satan, then you wouldn't have Christianity. He's the most important figure in it.
He is the most important enemy in it, yes.
Most important figure.
But you see, when that second page you're talking about, that's when man was given a choice.
Well, great, sir, but that still doesn't take away the fact that no devil, no Christianity. He's the most important player.
Okay. Then he's the most important player.
Thank you. Sarasota, you're on the air at 970 WFLA.
When God or Satan told Abraham to go slay his son, to me that was just murder. And
that was God, sir.
Is that the reward of God by that act? I don't quite understand it. To me, that's attempted murder in any shape, form, or way. What does Mr. Alexander feel about that, obeying God's command on that?
I believe that God knew that he wasn't going to murder his son. God knew this beforehand, and he was testing the faith of Abraham. And God did eventually supply the sacrifice, which was the ram.
Mr. Alexander, God already knew what Abraham was going to do.
That's right.
So he wasn't testing his faith. I mean, how can
he was testing Abraham's faith.
Mr. Alexander, there's a light bulb up there on the wall. If I turn the switch and that light bulb goes off, and I know for a fact that it's going to come back on the next time I turn the switch, I'm not testing the light bulb, am I? Because I know it's going to come on.
That's faith.
No, it's not faith, sir. If I have
faith that it's going to come on.
No, sir. If I have absolute proof that it's going to come on, I know beyond the shadow of a doubt it's going to come on.
Fine, yes.
Then I can't possibly be testing the light bulb. So God would have known absolutely, positively, for sure, what Abraham was going to do. He wasn't testing Abraham, sir. It's a bunch of malarkey.
No, I believe Abraham had he had the free will.
Well, whether or not he had the free will, sir, God knew what he was going to do.
That's correct.
So he wasn't testing him. How can you test something when you know the outcome? That's not testing.
Abraham was the one that didn't have the pre-knowledge.
Okay, let's see if we can put it into another simple, easy-to-understand analogy. I have a deck of cards, okay? Here's a deck of cards, playing cards, right here in my briefcase. I keep these around sometimes because the phones get slow, and I play solitaire until the phones pick up. The third card from the top I will show you is an 8 of clubs, okay? Let's put the cards down here on the table, and I'm going to say 1, 2. The third card here is an 8 of clubs. Isn't that amazing, sir? No, it's not amazing because I knew it was the 8 of clubs, right?
Well, you knew it, yeah.
Okay, well, if God knew that it was the 8 of clubs, or in other words, if God knew that Abraham wasn't going to kill the kid, it certainly wasn't anything astonishing, was it?
Well, I believe that Abraham didn't know, and Abraham trusted God implicitly, and it was a test of Abraham's faith, not of God's faith.
Well, it was already predetermined. Made no difference what Abraham believed or didn't believe. It was already predetermined.
I think it makes
Am I still in the air?
Yeah, sure.
If Abraham should have said, if that be your dastardly deed, then be by your hand, not by my hand, because your kingdom is not worth murder. But he said, all right, I'll go to your special place and I'll kill. That's how I see it. And that's wrong, in my opinion.
Well, I think sometimes one of the problems that we're having here is that we are dealing with the infinite, and
you believe in the Ten Commandments, Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
If God came to you tonight and said, I want you to kill your wife, I command you, I order you to kill your wife, what are you going to do?
I don't believe God would tell me that now. And there was a special reason why God...
Well, suppose he did, what would you do?
Well, I wouldn't kill my wife, obviously.
You would not obey God?
No, but God does not speak to us that way. He speaks to us through a different...